Just a forewarning before this video to say that if you've not watched the video about inventory management for the stock items, I'd watch that first to get a better grasp of everything going on in this video. Watching the video about Kounta's purchase orders will also explain where all the data comes from and how it's updated. Recipe building in Kounta requires a bit of planning before you dive in and start creating recipes for products, as some products may require a bit more thought. Some identical products may be sold multiple times in different ways, so it would be worth looking first to avoid having to program in recipes multiple times. We'll go through a good few examples though to show how it might work. To start off, products bought and sold as is in units do not need a recipe. Kounta will automatically deduct a single unit when one is sold. So if you buy in cans of Coke in packs of 24 and set it up correctly, this will deduct properly when sold. To build a recipe, let's take a simple example, like a coffee. Just like purchase ordering, the first steps are done in the back office. You'll need to set the product to Made Here under the Inventory tab, if it's not done already. You can do this in bulk from the product list by ticking the products you want and changing the inventory type from the top. To actually then create the recipe, this is done from Produce, accessed via the K icon in the top left. If you click on Create Recipe in the top right, you can search for the selling product and press Create. This product is made to order, so you'd leave that selected. You then type in all the ingredients that go into the product, in this case coffee beans and milk. If this was a coffee that requires filter papers, you can also program this in to get a true GP. This is why it's important to run all of your stock through Kounta's stock system instead of just the ingredients. Now, the first issue is that this could be sold to either drink in or take away, and with the takeaway there could be a disposable cup that's used as well. There are a few ways to manage this. You can either just create the recipe again on the takeaway selling product and add the cup, but a good way to create this so it's easy to manage later would be to create a master recipe and have these selling products use that recipe as their own, then with any additions they need as well, as Kounta's system can quote and take other recipes to form a new one. So for this, we could use the variant products parent. You'd create the recipe for the drink under that, then for the other two, type in the name of that parent product and say that you use 1 unit of that recipe to make the drink. You can then add any additions to the recipes unique to that product, such as filter paper or disposable cups. Then in future, if you wanted to change the recipe for this drink, you only have to change it once in the master recipe, and the new GPs will trickle down to the selling products automatically. This system of quoting other recipes is essentially how products created in batches work. If, for instance, you make a dough that goes into many different products, you create a product in the back end called Doughbatch and create a recipe for that batch that other recipes can then take from. The Doughbatch product wouldn't have a selling price or cost price when created. It wouldn't be sold, bought, but might possibly be stocked if it lasts a while. And then you'd also set this product to Made Here. For this, you'd select from the recipe creation screen that the product is made in batches. Then define what kind of amount you get from each batch. Then type in the ingredients as usual and save it. This batch recipe is now ready for other recipes to quote and take from. Say a pizza uses 100 grams of that recipe. You type in the batch name and 100 grams, and the GP will calculate from that entire batch. To run a batch in Kounta and add it to Kounta's internal stock system, you'd head over to the Batches tab on the left. Start the batch from the top right and select which one you're doing. The figures are all based around the recipe you just put in, so if you're doing a double batch or a half batch, the amounts can change accordingly. Click on Start Batch to confirm your amount set. To finish the batch, select Finish Batch from the top right again and enter the yield you actually got from that batch to add it to Kounta's internal stock count. If it was anything different from the amount you set initially, the GPs will change and trickle down to the products. To speed this up, this can also be done retroactively at the end of the day. Just remember what you made and how much you got, and running the batches at the end of the day is a 2-minute job, so no need to run the Kounta batch screen next to you whilst kneading dough.